Awesome. All right. So how to spot a crazy. This is a very simple training. We're just going to talk about first the red flags that you should watch out for. And then we're going to take a look at a bunch of different profile examples so you can get an idea for what to look for when spotting a crazy or a negative woman or just a woman who has red flags written all over her. Oh no. Okay, well, this didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But so we're going to talk about the red flags. So if she has photos only of herself, there are no other photos of other people on her profile, this is a big red flag. This could easily be a scammer who is just trying to get something from you and not interested in dating. So look for photos with her and another person. If she doesn't have a college listed, it's not necessarily a huge red flag, but when you see these things on a profile like a college or a job or the company she works for, something that's identifiable so you could find her on Google, that's a sign that she's a real person and not a scammer. If she has no work listed, that could be a red flag as well. I'm not saying that all of these mean don't talk to this person. It just means that keep in mind that it might not be who you want it to be, or there may be some red flag situations. You should be able to find most people on the internet, and if you can't, it's kind of a red flag. If she's clearly using a fake name, doesn't mean that it's a bad person. It's just a sign. You're looking for a cluster of these. If you're seeing all of these show up, it's a bad sign. But if she's clearly using a fake name, it's very clearly not her real name. That's a red flag. Or if the way she looks doesn't match the name, that could be an indication of something being awry. If you can't find her on Google, so what I want you to do, especially if you find that you're running into crazy women or scammers or anybody that you don't want to meet on these apps, try putting in the information you see on her profile into Google. Start with her name, if she has a job listed, if she has the city that she lives in, her age, the school she went to, any of that information. If that information is not there, there's a chance that she's not real. It's somebody posing as her to get money or to scam you. We don't know for sure, but most people are findable on the internet. And if they're not, that's kind of a red flag. If her body language looks odd or doesn't fit compared to other women her age, chances are something is awry. She might be a little crazy. You can see it really in body language. The body doesn't lie. If she doesn't look the same age as what she lists, usually you'll see that someone looks much younger than the age listed. Let me tell you something about women. We don't want our age to be older than how we look. So we don't want to, if we look very, very young for our age, if she looks 30, but her age is 55, it's probably a scammer. Generally speaking, it's probably a scammer unless she just has amazing genetics. But that's definitely a red flag. What these scammers do is they put up beautiful photos with a girl who looks too good to be true. And they put it at the age range that you're in, so you'll see her. And then everything seems too good to be true. That is a sign of a scammer. If it feels too good to be true, it is. If her clothing, makeup, or hair don't match her age, this is a sign of a crazy person. I say this a lot with different people that I work with individually. You got to make sure that they don't look like they're trying to dress 40 years younger, or their hair and their makeup. They have like a ton of makeup and a ton of, just, it's weird. She's trying too hard. We got to wonder why. She never grew out of something, and it's not a good sign. None of her backgrounds look local. That could be a sign that she does not live in the area and she's trying to scam you for money. We talked about looks or sounds too good to be true. If she uses negative language on her profile, that's a sign that she's probably a negative Nelly. If she's not smiling in her photos, this is not a good sign. For me, that's a deal breaker. If you're not smiling in your photos, you're probably not a nice person. If you see spelling and grammatical errors, but she looks like a fluent English speaker, very likely she's a scammer. It's probably not a real person. So pay attention to that. Only uses closely cropped headshots. She has no full body shots. She has no hobby photos. She has no social proof photos. This is a big red flag. Either she isn't, who she says she is, or she just doesn't look the way you're hoping that she looks. She's trying to hide something, just not a good sign. If she has weird photoshopped photos, also not a very good sign. Something I see a lot is overkill on the lip injections. If it looks like she just got all kinds of lip injections and she's trying to be, 25 years old and she's 55 years old, it's not a good sign. Cool. If her profile looks like this, it's not a good sign. Chances are she either doesn't care about dating, she didn't set up her own profile, maybe her kids did it or someone else did it and she really isn't ever active on there, or she just doesn't have time to set it up because she's only there to, it's just weird. It's not a good sign. Okay, so something I want you to look at. If we look at the left-hand side here and we see a profile of a woman, if we were to go in and highlight all of the intangible feeling words that were on her profile, we would get a very clear picture of how this woman sees the world. So a person's subjective experience of the world is revealed in their language, and the language that we use that is top of mind for us, it tells a story about how we view the world and ourselves within the world. So if we were to go through this profile and just pull out those intangible feeling words, we would find a list of words that you see here. Love, cold, easy, love, 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 lots of love. Looks like she's definitely looking for love. That's a great sign. Nature, camping, hiking. Sounds like she's a outdoorsy type. Animals, stargazing, modern, adventures, loyal, fault. Lurk, shadows. So some negative language in there. Maybe she sees the world in a negative way a little bit. Glowing, thrive, music, arts, unfold, thinker. Dark, another negative word. It's interesting to look for the negative words to just see what they look like and what kind of a picture that paints for you about her personality. Cerebral, laid back, independent, love, wanting, connect, and care. So if you just take these words, you get an idea of what this person is probably like. And this can reveal to you a lot of information. A crazy person tends to use the word crazy on their profile. But if you look at it in context, they're often describing someone else's behavior. However, if that keyword is top of mind for them, chances are they're also crazy. And the same is true for just about anything. So you see top of mind for this woman is love, which is a great sign. She definitely looks like she is looking for love. She's interested in love, and she is probably a loving person. But there may be some red flag keywords that you see on profiles, and we're going to keep diving into more here in a minute. But when you look at the profile, I know it's easy, especially for men, because your brains are more visual. It is easy to just focus on the photos and to ignore the keywords, the language that she's using. But that language is going to reveal everything, especially if it's a scammer or somebody that you don't want to be connected to. Their photos may look amazing, but the words is what you want to be looking at. You want to see what is going on with her. Oops. Okay, did I do that correctly? Yes. So comparing, I'm not going to read through the profile on the left, but if we just pulled out these words that we find, those intangible feeling words, we went through the profile and we highlighted all of those, we would find looking, friends, naughty, open, kind, thoughtful, smart, fun, love, art, love, dancing, kinky, respect, adventurous, crazy, explosive. Okay, so we found a couple words here that are starting to paint a very clear picture of this person. Clearly, they're very sex-forward individual. They are using the keyword crazy, and it is not in a bad way, but it's still top of mind for that person. And if it's top of mind for that person, I would just be weary of that. Explosive is another keyword that would tell you a lot about how they see the world. They may be more dramatic, passionate, argumentative. These are keywords that aren't in everyone's top of mind. So it shows you how she's thinking. Energy. Yes, I feel a lot of energy from this profile for sure. Good, patient, sweet, sugar, alpha, dom. So these are keywords if you are looking for a sex positive woman, or you're looking for somebody who shares the same sexual preferences as you, which I think is a great thing to do on your profile. Using keywords that describe your sexual view, your sexual preferences, can be really helpful in polarizing your audience and getting people who are interested in the same things as you to swipe right. Strong, kind, open-minded, boss, boundaries. So to me, she feels like, I think she's probably pretty alpha woman, Definitely sex forward, adventurous, might be a little crazy. She uses the word crazy. That's a little bit of a red flag. All right, and now let's compare this profile. So not a lot of words, right? All we see is good, buying, and drinks. If you're seeing the keyword buying, I know this is a joke. It's an overused joke that a lot of people use about buying drinks if you don't look like your photos. But the fact that she is using the keyword buying in her profile suggests that she could be a gold digger. She might just be in it for the money. She might just be in it for the free food and the free drinks. Yeah. So keep that in mind. You can spot a lot of things about a person just by the words they choose to use. And then her Instagram handle is on there. Instagram handle is a great way to reach out to people and connect with people, but it also might be a sign that she's not very serious about dating. I certainly don't get the vibe that she's very serious about dating. But just an interesting thing as you compare these different profiles, what a different picture you get of each person. Doesn't look like she puts a lot of time or effort into dating. All right, this one, artsy fartsy, loves outdoors, abrasive. This keyword right here, huge red flag for me. I would not have abrasive in my vocabulary top of mind. And certainly if it's describing, yeah, I just think that that's a keyword on a profile that is a huge red flag. To me, I would be like, meh, swipe left. Horror is another negative keyword. I know it's a genre as well, but it's just a little bit, makes me a little nervous. So that's that one. Okay, these keywords, we see sad. Sad is not something that you want to see on a profile. That tells me that she's probably a little depressed. Sappy, eating, social justice, liberation. You did not see these keywords on the other profiles. So this tells me a lot about the way she sees the world. She's probably in a constant battle of some kind. She's fighting for some sort of justice. So that really tells me a lot about her. Terrible is not a keyword I want to see on a profile. Yeah. Going kind of quickly here, but I think it kind of sinks in. Okay, caring, passionate, driven, smart, skilled, funny. Now I like these keywords a lot, and I hear a lot of my clients are like, hey, I really want these types of qualities in a woman. Well, it's very important to use those keywords on your profile because that's going to help that algorithm match you with women who also use those keywords on their profile. So now if you're looking for a driven, smart, passionate, caring woman, you're going to match with more people who say that on their profile. This is definitely a profile of somebody that I would want to meet. Seems like very positive words, very positive keywords. Captain, team. This is a sign that she's a good team player. She's not going to be selfish or, any of that. Also very active, it looks like, active outside, running, reading, learning. This is definitely a profile of a go-getter. The keyword ambitious. All of these things is what I'd be looking for personally in a partner if I was single. You're really looking for those positive keywords and no negative keywords here. Perfect. Here for fun times and practicing the art of the makeout. Very clever, but doesn't tell me a whole lot about this person. So as you go through this process and you get more and more people who are interested in you, you're going to have less time available to date, and you're going to have to raise the stakes on the people that you date. This, for me, after I'd gone through maybe the first 10 or 20 people, this person would not make it through my filter because I want somebody who takes time. It puts time into their profile and actually is thoughtful in sharing information about themselves. This person to me shows that they're probably using sarcasm as a defense mechanism and may be very difficult to get to know. Surprising, right? I used to be very much like this. I would think it was very clever in the beginning of the experiment, but as I went through the process, I realized that that actually is just somebody who's not saying anything about themselves. I swim to eat. Fried calamari is the best. I love making silly inside jokes. After all, I want to be remembered as a funny person. Let's go for a bike ride on the flats. So this tells me a little bit about them. They're clearly active and they like to laugh, but not telling me a ton. Again, kind of like the last profile, I might not, if I'm being more selective about who I date, it probably wouldn't be the person that I would choose if I had a lot of options. but it gives me some information about them. Definitely doesn't seem like there's no negative keywords. There's no like fighting type of keywords. So I'd probably have a fun time with this person. Sometimes I feel like I have my life together and then I'm like, wow, that was a nice 45 seconds. Somebody brilliant. While this is funny and clever, it also tells me about them in a negative way. So if I'm being discerning about who I'm going to match with, this is telling me that this person is chaotic and probably a mess. And is that really how you want to display, yourself? So if you're using a lot of humor and sarcasm on your profile, even though I love it, I love sarcastic comedians, I love humor. I found in the experiment, the more humor and sarcasm I used, the less quality matches I got. Cool. All right, so I won't read through everything in here, but what stands out to me about this woman's profile is, I'd like to know how tall you are, please. I'm 5'7". That is a red flag, I think, because A, people list their height on their profile anyway, usually. And B, it's just like, okay, if you're filtering out by that and you're saying it on your profile, you're probably a dick. I don't know. Even though women think like this, we totally think like this. There's a difference between a woman who talks about it and puts it on her profile. This to me is a woman who's going to be rude. I think that's what I say, what I see. No tobacco smokers, please. While it is totally fine to have your deal breakers, listing them on your profile is super negative. And this just makes me think that this person is rude and mean. So be wary of any negative language at all. It's kind of like a job interview. When you see someone who is negative, even in a 5-second interview, or, for 5 seconds of a 30-minute interview, you don't really want to continue talking to that person. All right, so this one was interesting to me. There's a bunch of things. So this person says not looking for a threesome, and then immediately after says not against it. This person sounds confused to me. What do you want? You're not looking for it, but you're not against it. Okay. No drama. This is a big red flag. First of all, it is all caps. No drama. If you say no drama on your profile, I guarantee you're dramatic AF. Like, you are a dramatic person. So that to me is a big red flag. She says no drama, but then she loves yelling at scary movies. That sounds pretty dramatic to me. She sounds like a dramatic person. Other red flags, dancing in the moonlight. This is what crazy people do. Just saying. Yoga in the tub. That's what crazy people do. There's some crazy on this profile. Okay. So just give you a second to look at it, but there's definitely some signs that this person might be totally crazy. Okay. All right. This one is interesting. So I am not up for an adventure. I don't own the aquatic footwear for it. Very clever, but she's telling me I'm not up for. This starts with a negative. Then she says, I have no desire to be one half of a partners in crime situation. And she continues, and it's funny, but it's super negative. And then I never figured out. 3-way calls. I think it might have been magic. So using a lot of sarcasm, funny, but also probably mean to date. Usually people who use sarcasm, they are doing it as a defense mechanism. I totally understand it. I used to do it all the time, but for dating and finding love, I promise you it will hold you back every time. So if somebody's using a lot of negativity on their profile because they're trying to be clever, it's a defense mechanism. They're probably not able to be vulnerable enough to open their heart for love. That is my own opinion, but it's a lot of experience behind it. And I myself was like this person. All right. In this profile, you see the word feisty. That tells me there will be fighting in this relationship. That would be a red flag for me. Then she says, I've got a brain I use most of the time. Pretty negative. Why would somebody say that? I don't understand why it would even be top of mind. A job that isn't boring. It's not really compelling me. It's a pretty negative way to say, I don't even know why they say that. It's like unnecessary. And generally, I'm a pretty content, positive person. I don't believe it. Right off the bat, if I saw nothing else on this profile, I'd be like, I don't believe it. If you have to tell me something about yourself, then it's probably the opposite is true. And then right after that, you see if you're an asshole douchebag into head games, I have zero patience for that. I'm not looking for soulless sport fucking. If that's your thing, more power to you. Just skip me. I could guarantee that's how her personality was before I even saw that remainder of her profile, because there's a lot of negative language here. She obviously likes to fight with people. That's how she sees the world. She's got a negative view on the world. And so maybe watching this is giving you ideas about how to avoid negative women or crazy women or women that you don't want to date, but it might also be highlighting things that need to change on your profile. If you're speaking to what you don't want on your profile, you're doing yourself a huge disservice for many reasons. One, she is now going to match with everybody who says asshole douchebag or head games on their profile. So she's literally selecting that to be, the algorithms are going to help her match with people who use those words. Zero patience. She's going to match with people who use those words on their profile. And not only that, she might have come across the guy who's perfect for her, but then he saw how mean she was by writing that. Even if she had a bad experience, it's not everybody else's problem. Like, it's not everybody else's fault. So if you're like, no narcissists, no crazy people, no gold diggers, that's nobody else's problem. So talking about it is just making you look bad. I would remove anything negative and only speak to what you're looking for. There's no use in saying things like, I've got a brain I use most of the time. Okay, I breathe air most of the time. You know, you want to share things in your profile that like help someone see you in the best light. So keep that in mind. But if you're seeing any negativity on a profile, for me, that's a dead giveaway that person is going to be negative on the date and you're not going to want to spend your time. I love animals. I have a big family, born and raised in SF. A few of my favorite shows are The Killing, Dexter, and The Walking Dead. Okay, I like some of those shows as well, but I would not list those on your profile because to me, it's a red flag that this person might be a killer or they might be a little bit twisted, yada, yada, yada. I would avoid dangerous sounding things on your profile. Like the keyword kill is not what I would have on your profile ever. Cool. In town for the weekend after a recent heartbreak, looking for someone to spend some time with and forget about the breakup for a bit. Must enjoy grabbing drinks and having fun. Oh dear, this is not somebody that I would hope any of you would want to meet up with. Definitely not going to be a good time. Somebody who is going through a heartbreak but does not want to be alone, that's not a good thing. And they're only in town for the weekend. That's definitely a red flag. All of it's a red flag. So if you're seeing this, avoid it. Living a wonderful life, looking for a beautiful lady. I'm a healthcare professional and lead a full and busy life. So this is a pretty positive profile, but when they say lead a full and busy life, the keyword busy suggests a workaholic, somebody who does not prioritize relationships. So keep that in mind. If that keyword busy is top of mind, then they may be too busy for you. Cool. So it's all about the keywords. All right. Love great restaurants, yada, yada, yada. Love hanging out with friends and laughing. Would love to meet you, especially if you're into having fun. Think laughs, lively conversations, great meals, too many cocktails, and you know. Very positive profile, very nice keywords, lots of love keywords, lots of laughter, friends, very positive. The only thing to me is too many cocktails signals an alcoholic, and you know, signals booty call. Whatever you're interested in, totally cool. Just be very cognizant of the choices that you make. This person is probably an alcoholic who has sex with a lot of people. Just saying, I don't judge. I totally don't judge, but you want to know what choices you're making consciously. Okay. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, me fish, you fish, we fish, happy fish. So clever, but tells me nothing about this person. I think this person is closed off and will not share themselves enough to fall in love. That brings us to the end of this training.